Return of the Jedi, the considered worst out of the original trilogy, usually by most people. Return of the Jedi is the final chapter of Luke, Leia, and Han at first until we got the sequel trilogy. But it's basically really looking at this one, like, I guess there's more I could say about it than Empire and A New Hope in terms of why people don't like this one. And it's pretty obvious, but I think people point out the Ewoks. They're this movie's Gungans. They're just these toyetics. They're these things to save the day, but in silly ways. It's so funny to watch in George Lucas's trilogies, anyways. Like the first and last film has cute little side characters or animated side characters that save the day, like through stupid ways, and it's so funny to see the difference and similarity with Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi, where it's like goofy characters like fighting the evil bad Empire and winning really easily. Like, I think that's a funny idea. Like, it doesn't take anything away from Phantom Menace or Return of the Jedi for me, really, but I always have to point that out. Like, it's so funny to see like these goofy toyetic characters save the day, or save some of the day. So it's weird to see that with the Ewoks in this, because the Ewoks are adorable. They really are. I'm not denying that. Like, I think they're fun. Weirdly enough, I don't know, like, I really do love this one still regardless, and I'd say, yeah, out of the three, it is the weakest, technically. I can't really put my finger on something that makes it really weak against the other two, I mean. Besides the fact of just being kind of more family-friendly, I guess. Because Empire started dark, and then after this, it's kind of like, oh, like, it's still dark, but it's definitely not as dark as the last one. It's way more cutesy, which is a small complaint, but it's not like a complaint that ruins the movie for me at all. It's definitely not like Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker in terms of, like, how I felt so great about one, and then the next one I'm like, man, this is such a letdown. I definitely didn't feel that way about this one. It wasn't really a letdown, it was just not the best out of the three, which is a difference, definitely. It's a difference, but it's not one that bothers me that much. Besides the Ewok stuff, which is cutesy, whatever, I do really like the first act a lot. I like the fact with going back to Tatooine, with Jabba the Hutt, with the sail barge, with them fighting Jabba's men and escaping, and I like that. And it's so funny to see Boba Fett get introduced in Empire for like, and be in the movie for like 10 minutes, and then in this one be in the movie for like 10 minutes and then get just destroyed easily and die. Like I said in the Empire review, like, Boba Fett actually is really good in The Mandalorian. Like, they brought back Tamara Morrison, who played Jango Fett, but he's a clone of all the other ones, so it's the same actor. They brought him back in The Mandalorian, and I feel like Boba Fett is the most interesting he ever is in The Mandalorian, so it's great to see that. Because in this one, he goes out really quick, and it's kind of silly. He just quickly goes out in the movie. But I like the first act a lot. I like the indoor sitting, like, I like it being out in the forest. But it's weird. It makes the movie less memorable in the fact that the locations, I think, aren't as memorable as New Hope and Empire. Because in Empire, I like how dark it looked. I like the locations. I liked how they were otherworldly, like Cloud City, which is a really cool place. And then in this one, you're just kind of on a planet that looks like Earth. So it's kind of a shame in that way. And that's, I guess, one of the reasons why it's a little lesser of a movie than the other two for me. But whenever I reviewed these on Letterboxd, like, I gave Empire and New Hope a 5-star, and then this one I gave a 4.5. So it's not like I'm saying, like, this is bad or anything. It's just like, there's a small tad difference. It's close to greatness. But I really like the first act. I love the ending. The ending is fantastic. I love the ending with Palpatine. I love the fact that Palpatine is trying to trick both of them, Luke and Anakin, or Luke and Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader saves the day. He sacrifices himself for his son. And it's one of the saddest things ever. I love when Luke is trying to carry his father out before this Death Star blows up, where he's like, I've got to save you. And then Anakin just says, you already have. you were right about me. Tell your sister I was right. Like, it was just a really great moment. And I really love that scene. Speaking of sister, I really love that scene between Luke and Leia whenever they're on Endor, and Luke like tells the truth about their lineage, and like you can feel it, you can always tell, and or you could have. And she said, "I've always known," which is a funny line because they made that in the last movie, but still, I really like that scene between Luke and Leia and the scene between Luke and Anakin. Like, those are great emotional moments. And I really love the final scene where Luke is like by the fire, like a private funeral, like because nobody would go to the funeral of Darth Vader, the guy who's killed millions of people. Nobody would do that except for his son, who knew that he was good deep down and redeemed him. Like, that just is so moving and touching. It's such a great way to end Anakin's arc. Because, like I said, I like Anakin more as a character than Luke, honestly, in the prequel trilogy than Luke in the originals. Luke is great in the originals, but I like Anakin's overall story, where, like, he's in every movie, and he's great, and I just think it's a great character arc, from where he starts in Phantom Menace to where he dies in Return of the Jedi. Like, I think it's really fantastic. And it's just, it works really well on being satisfying with the emotional levels of this one. This one feels emotionally satisfying in a lot of ways. Like I said, with Luke and Anakin, and with Luke and Leia. But then everything else is just fine. Like, those emotional moments are so high that I rated it so high, but, like, the final battle's good, like, with Lando, that's pretty solid, like, it's fun. It's cool seeing Lando again. I didn't mention him in the last review because he was introduced in Empire, but he's great. Great as he was in the last one. Han's great. But yeah, it's really more about Luke and Anakin, like their end. Like, I really love that part of the movie. But the rest of the movie is good. It's just not up to greatness as the other two. Like I said, as a whole, it's just not one that I love as much. I honestly love a lot more movies than this one, like, not including the original trilogy, more than Return of the Jedi. And Return of the Jedi has some great moments, but it just kind of falls a little short from greatness. Not like it falls really short from greatness. It's just got a few things where I'm like, it could have been tweaked a little better. I felt that way about Phantom Menace whenever I was rewatching it. I was like, if they tweaked a couple things, they could have made this one a little more palatable for some people who didn't like it. So it's always so funny to see that with Star Wars. So, pretty much all I could say about Return of the Jedi. This is going to be the shortest review for any of the Star Wars movies I'm doing, because there's really not much to say. Really like the arcs with Luke and Vader, Anakin. Luke and Leia, great. The action's great. Ewoks are cute, whatever, they're fine, but, like, the whole story is just kind of weaker considerably compared to the other two. But it's still a great movie. It's still a great, awesome, fun ride. So I still enjoy it, flaws and all. It's just so close to greatness, but it's not great. It's not as amazing as the other two, but still, I still love it. It's a piece of my heart. Like, as I've just seen this movie so many times. The original 6 movies I've watched millions of times. So, all I can say about Return of the Jedi, really, really fun. So, thank you guys. Next up is Force Awakens. So I'll see you guys there.